Well, hi, everybody. Um, it's really fun to be back. And this last week, I've gone grain-free. I'm not eating grain, well, pretty much grain-free. Some dishes, they just had grain in them, so I had some, but really focusing on no grain because Connie pointed out that when I have grain, I seem to clear my throat a lot. So I thought I'd try it. And sure enough, when I don't eat grain, it seems to be more clear. So I'm playing with that. That presented the question, so what do I do to replace the grain? And so one day I got in the kitchen and I started doing something I love to do, bake up yams, sweet potatoes, squash, and make a pâté because it's a nice, high carb, high protein alternative to grain. And I just kept playing and I came up with 3 different ways to use it. So I want to share that with you today. The first thing we're going to do is make a pâté. We're going to make a pâté that you can use like a hummus with sticks or with corn thins or whatever. We're going to make bars. So I'm going to add some garbanzo bean flour to the pâté to give it some body, and we'll bake that into bars. So they're like sweet potato veggie bars, because we're going to do the sweet potatoes in that. We're going to include onion and garlic in it, and I'll add some greens to some of it too to give it really that whole high nutrient dense vegetable content. And then what I did, which was so cool, would you get those out of the cupboard? I made a veggie leather. You know how you can make fruit leather? You just like concentrated fruit, put it in the dehydrator, and it makes like this leather. I made veggie leather. So it's like veggie leather, huh? Concentrated, dehydrated. I love it. Do you like it?
Oh, it's great.
It's amazing. So we're gonna show you how to make that today too, out of the same stuff. So to start, I've got more than I'm going to put in one batch. This is a double batch. So this is our batch cooking. When I do stuff like this, I like to do enough to really last me. So we're going to do the yams, sweet potatoes. We'll get basically the sweet potato puree done first. And then we'll add the other veggies. But I want to make some leather just out of the sweet potato pâté before the onion and the garlic and the greens go in, because it is like heaven.
Well, didn't you put greens in that leather?
Yeah, that leather, that's what I'm saying, but I want to do this time around, learning from experience.
Okay.
I want to do it a little different because I have a sweet tooth, and this will be like a sweet vegetable leather that I really like the idea of. So I'm still learning, still experimenting.
What's that one?
This is, as you can see, buttercup squash, and I bake it with
Butternut squash.
butternut. Did I say cup?
You did.
Thank you for the correction. This is the butternut squash. I like to bake it with the skin on because it's kind of tricky to get all that skin off. Connie peels it with a peeler, which is fine. I don't like to take the time. So I just cut it in half, and then it just spoons right out of the skin. And then we put that skin in our stock. You know how we have the stock. What happened to my, what's the gun? We have our vegetable stock that we make from the parings. So now the nutrients that are in the skin, they go in the stock. And of course, all the parings that Connie would have made if she had peeled it would go in too. But it's so great. We're going to have a short clip with Dr. Rick Dina again. And he talks about beta carotene and all these nutrients and how valuable they are for us. So it's so nice to know how we can get these in our meals, and to be able to actually get all that beta carotene out of the
What is that you're
That's
putting in?
white potato or yellow potato. And I think these look so good. I think I'm going to leave those for another meal. This is your lunch, I guess. Okay, I'll stop now. Okay, so that is the first ingredient. I'm going to make a pâté out of this. Oh. I'll have to scratch it down in there. Now, I had thought about possibly just boiling these because it would be quicker to boil all this. Connie suggested baking again. I like the baking. For one thing, it's a little drier, so the pâté isn't quite so runny. The other, it has kind of that roasted quality. So what I've done is I'm going to make a fruit leather just with the pâté because that's sweet before I put the onion, garlic, and greens in. So I got this out from the dehydrator to put some of this pâté on. Let's try that. I hate to have it just sitting on. Okay, so I'm going to pull some out. See what it's like.
That looks great, Bill.
Yeah, it's still pretty lumpy. But I'm going to say that's okay for my experiment. I would actually make this smoother, except with the time, I want you to see everything that we're doing and not have to just sit there watching the food processor go along. So I make that about 1/4 of an inch thick because it really cuts down, kind of shrinks down as that moisture comes out of it. So that's going to be the first. And then I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients to this to make the full veggie, which means onion, he's adding the onion. I'll just give the food processor a little help there. And half the baked garlic. I've got 2 batches, so it's half of all these things. Excuse me. Then we'll get that rolling around.
What about the greens? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
well, I add them last. So
Oh, okay.
I'm always asking about the greens and you put the greens in, but I like to see them chunky. I could put them in now and they'd get really distributed. So we'd have a green, real green without the little chunks. I kind of like the little chunks. So I'm going to get this going and then we'll just add it in while it's still chunky. We'll take it out. Pretty good. Kind of feel around in there. Oh, yeah, no big lumps. I'll put the greens in. Nice handful of greens. I'm going to punch those down a little bit so they get incorporated quickly.
Delicious.
Taste, yeah, sweet veggies. Okay, well, that's what I'm looking for. So now I've got the full veggie pâté. So I'll make a little leather out of that too.
Boy, the green really shows up, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
here we are.
I love the look of it too.
Okay. Pâté, now this is something that we can take out right now and serve like with a corn thin. So you've got the fruit leather going. You can save it just as it is, as a pâté, though you would use like a hummus. And the other thing I'm going to do is to make bars. And in order to do that, I'm going to add garbanzo bean flour. What that means is I'm going to make my own flour. How's this going to reach?
We can make this out of
I'm not gonna do that, yeah. There we go. Bring this into view. And what I've done is I've added about a cup and a half of garbanzo beans, just dry garbanzo beans, and I make my own flour. It's kind of noisy, so nice thing about Zoom is that it will bring the volume down on its own, I hope. Hopefully, otherwise, just turn your volume off. So, chickpea flour, like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add flour to the pâté to make it into a batter that we can put in the baking dish. These now can go in the dehydrator. I'll put these in. I'm not going to turn it on yet, just so we don't have to hear it. But I dehydrated that other leather for 5 hours at 108 degrees if you have a dehydrator. You can do the same thing in the oven. Just turn your oven as low as possible. And then just check it. The lowest most ovens go to is about 170. And so that's going to probably be 2.5 or 3 hours. But you can do it in the oven as well. The reason we do the dehydrator at 108 is the idea of live enzymes. In the raw food world, they put a lot of emphasis on what are called live enzymes, those enzymes in our bodies that are active up to about 109 degrees. And then they're denatured, they just don't work anymore. And these enzymes are the enzymes that we're always concerned about if we have a fever. The reason we don't want someone's fever to go over 107, 108, 109, because these enzymes, these live enzymes in the body, don't work anymore. So our whole metabolism quits. That's why people can die from a high fever. It's that their biology stops working, their chemistry, their biochemistry stops working. So live enzymes dehydrate below 108, keep the live enzymes alive, so you feed your live enzymes. It's a subtle point. Good to know. Okay, so now I'm going to add some flour to this. How am I going to do this? I think I will use tablespoons. So with the amount that's in there, and I'll give it the proportions in the recipe, I'm going to do 3 tablespoons at this point. Let's see what that looks like. I want a nice.
That's the one that you might have trouble with.
Might have trouble with that one. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, I think we've got our veggie bars ready to go. We'll just put them in the 8x8 baking dish. Bake it up. Oh yeah, that's going to be nice. We'll see. I won't send the recipe if it doesn't turn out.
That's good.
Oh, this looks really good. Very different, huh? Veggie bars.
So tell them why you dreamed all this up.
To stay away from the grain, right? So I told them that at the beginning.
And you love snacks.
Yeah, okay, that's what you're getting at. So I often, Connie and I'll have a meal, and I will often, at the end of the meal, feel pretty satisfied, but not quite completely. So I'm looking for some little thing just to finish it off. And so I dream up these snacky kind of things, you know, where I can just have a bite of something that's going to finish me off. Oh, that's very tasty.
Is it?
I think I'm going to like this.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, it's so health giving. That's the good
it's
news.
Filled with nutrients, isn't it? That's all it is. It's high nutrient dense food. Get the last of it out. And then we'll bake it at 350 for about 40 minutes. And we will run our way. Yeah.
And then you'll just cut it into bars.
Yeah. So I just smooth it around to make it even so it bakes evenly. I think it's going to be fun. Well, thanks for joining me on this new little adventure. And if you try it, let me know what you think. All right, thanks so much.